Hi artists, it's me, Miss Amanda, here to talk to you a little bit about how specialist classes are going to work this year while we're learning from home. So this year, specialist classes are going to be on a 3-week rotation. That means that you will be spending a whole week with Miss Amanda in art, and then the next week you'll spend a whole week in music with Miss Paloma, and then the next week you'll spend a whole week in PE with Miss Fleck, and then you'll start over with art for another week. So we're gonna be seeing each other a lot during 1 week, and then I won't see you for a little while, but then you'll come back. The way each week looks in specials is kind of similar. Of course, we're going to be doing different activities because they're different subjects, but the way we'll be seeing you will be the same for each day of the week in all your specialist classes. I have made a handy dandy schedule that I'd like to go over with you so that you can kind of see how it's gonna work. Okay, so this is how specialists are going to look this year. Starting with Monday, you are going to have a video lesson. This is a pre-recorded lesson. So if it's your art week, it'll be a video from Miss Amanda. If it's your music week, it'll be a video from Miss Paloma. And if it's a PE week, it'll be a video from Miss Fleck. On Tuesdays, you will either have a Teams meeting lesson with your specialist teacher, or you will have an independent activity in art, music, or PE. Since I'm your art teacher, let's just pretend it's art week. You had a video with Miss Amanda on Monday. On Tuesday, you'll either see Miss Amanda and a small group of your class on Teams, or you will have an independent art activity to do. This just depends on what group you're in. On Wednesdays, we don't have a specialist class because those are short days. On Thursday, it looks the same here. But if you did this on Tuesday, a Teams meeting with a small group and Miss Amanda, then you will have an independent art activity on Thursday. If on Tuesday you did an independent art activity, then you will have a small Teams meeting with Miss Amanda and a group of your classmates. Okay? So it just depends on which group it is, whether you're doing independent stuff on Tuesday or Thursday. On Fridays, your whole class is going to meet together with Miss Amanda on Teams for an end of the week lesson where we'll kind of wrap up what we've learned about. All right, so that's what your week will look like, whether you're doing art, music, or PE. Now, remembering what week you're on and what week is next can be tricky, so I have some reminders for you. You can use this word AMP to help you remember the pattern, art, music, PE. So if it is art week and you're thinking towards next week, you're like, what am I gonna have next week? Well, this week is art, AMP. M, music is next week. Instead of AMP, you could use PAM. Say it's Sunday night and you're thinking, I don't know what's tomorrow. Well, what did I have last week? Who did I see on Friday? Friday, I saw Miss Fleck. Oh, that means it was a PE week. PAM. Okay, so art is this week. Another thing that might help you is this visual. It's like a little circle to help you remember the pattern, because these ones just show one rotation. This shows you how it starts over. So music goes to PE, which goes to art, which goes back to music. Music, PE, art, music, PE, art. Hopefully this will help you remember how art and music and PE are going to work this year. During your specials classes, when we meet on Teams, you are going to see some common symbols being used. In art, in music, and PE, your teachers are going to be using the same symbols. So I want to go through those signals or symbols so that you know what they mean and that you're ready to use them when we have our class. Of course, we'll go over them again on the first day. All right, so this symbol means video off. Turn your video off. Like I said, these are signals that we're going to be using during our Teams meeting. So there will be a button that looks like this on the top of your screen in Teams. That's what you'll click if you need to turn your video off. So if one of your teachers holds this up, you know it means click that button and turn your video off. We also have a signal for turning your video on. It's the same button that you used to switch your video off. There might be times where we ask you to turn your video on if you're comfortable with it, or to turn it off for some reason, and that's when we would be using these signals. This means mute or turn your microphone off. A lot of times, in order for people to be heard when it's their turn to talk, it works best for us to mute ourselves so that the sounds going on in our house don't interfere. This button is right next to your camera button on the top of the screen in Teams. So if you see this, it means mute yourself. If it's your turn to talk, you might see this come up as a reminder to turn your microphone on. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I will start jabbering away at my students and they'll say, Miss Amanda, your mic is off. So this is a signal to turn your mic on. This signal means that your teachers would like you to raise a hand. There is actually a button that looks a lot like this on Teams. And you can click that button and it will tell your teachers that your hand is raised. So your teachers might say, please raise your hand if you would like to share an idea or a question or answer a question, and you would click this button to show us that your hand is raised. This button is on the top of your Teams screen, just like the microphone and the video button. This signal is to stand up. There might be times where we need you to move or stretch, so when you see this, it means you can stand up from your seat and be ready to move. There's also a signal for sitting back down. Once we're done standing and moving around, this is the signal that means sit in your learning position. Your learning position might not be crisscross applesauce on the floor like in this picture. It might be sitting in a chair. My learning position, or my teaching position, is in a chair, and yours might be too. The most important thing for a learning position is that our eyes are on the speaker so that we can listen to what they're saying. Our voices are off so that we can be hearing their message, and usually it also means our hands are to ourselves, especially when we're in class. The last signal I want to share with you is this one. This means that we would like you to open up your chat on Teams and use the chat to type something to us. This button is also on the top of your Teams screen. It's right next to the hand button. It has a little dialog box, like a little word bubble, like if you're reading a comic book. And when you click that button, it'll open up a box where you can type and send a message. So instead of raising your hand, your teacher might say, please write one word in the chat that describes how you're feeling today. All right, so those are our signals that we're going to be using in specialist classes this year. Now, I know there is a lot more to cover and figure out together this year, and we will do that for sure. But these are just some basic things I wanted to share with you so that we could be ready for our first specialist classes. And if you end up in the wrong class or with the wrong teacher because you weren't sure how the schedule worked, it's okay. It's no big deal. We're all gonna make mistakes and get confused, and that's totally fine. So I know that Ms. Fleck and Ms. Palma and I will be reviewing all of this with you over the next few weeks. We will get the hang of it, and we'll be going over other expectations and other reminders to make this all work. We are all looking forward to seeing you so much. Maybe I'm seeing you this week, maybe I'm seeing you next week, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you soon. Bye.